Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 6 of Down to the Wire. You already know me. I'm the Shark alongside that guy, Breadstick. And this is episode 6 of Down to the Wire, like I just said. So today we are going to have a draft themed episode. As you know, on episode 4, we had a decades theme. This one's going to be draft theme. And Gabe, I'm so excited about this one. I will say,
All right,
very
so
excited.
so the shark actually did come up with this episode theme. So the shark, what do we have in store for today about draft classes?
Well, here's what I will say. So, I mean, the draft has changed over the years. I mean, like with so many rounds in the past, and now they're shrunken it to just 60 players getting drafted every single year, including college and overseas. And I mean, it's crazy to see how the draft has changed and all the new players that are coming in, from the 90s to like Kobe Bryant, and then like the O's of LeBron and tens like Luka Doncic. I mean, the list goes on. So that's what we're gonna do today. So the breadstick and the shark have come up with. I've found out with three draft classes. We're gonna rank them three of the best and then three of the worst. So I'm gonna start with three of my. We're gonna start positive here. We'll start with three of the best draft classes that we had. So I'll start off. I'll go off of 1984 NBA draft, which had three of the best players. Had Akeem Olajuwon that went number one, and then Michael Jordan that went number three, and then Charles Barkley who went number five. So I mean that draft class produced three of the top 50 players to ever play this game, and I mean, and that right there is stacked in itself. So, Gabe, agree or disagree
No, I
with my
definitely
pick?
agree. That draft class specifically, you can't overlook a lot of those greats, especially for that time. Especially the three that you said with the goat Jordan coming in at the number 3 spot. You got Hakeem Olajuwon, another great draftee, especially who did win two championships when Jordan wasn't playing. And I don't know, it would be kind of interesting to see the Rockets and the Bulls play in a finals because most of Jordan's best competition was against the East. So basically, he had to fight those people in the East to get to his spot, which I think he had easier competition, not relatively easy competition, but easier competition in the finals than he had on his way to the finals. Um, which is opposed to LeBron, which I think, because I'm just going off of like since I have this on my mind, that with LeBron, you had most of his harder competition was in the finals rather than getting to the finals. So that's why his finals record, in my opinion, is a lot worse than Jordan's record is. But
Mm-hmm.
um, going back to the 1983 draft, you have those three wonderful players. Even though that Charles Barkley wasn't able to win a ring, he was still probably one of the best power forwards of all time. Um, then after that, let's see like what other draft people we have. We have John Stockton was in the draft, probably arguably a top 10, top 5 point guard of all time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm trying to see what else you might have. But I think just even those four guys alone are still really, really good picks. So I wouldn't even count.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't count these draft classes out because there's so many. There's a few iconic players in this draft that make up this entire 1984 draft.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then, so basically, how this is gonna work is that I'm gonna list out three, and then you're gonna list out three.
Okay.
So like I just listed out 80. Let's list out this one. So the next one I'm gonna list out is a 1998 draft class, which had Vince Carter, Paul Pierce, and Dirk Nowitzki as three of its best players. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a good draft class. 1998. Had a lot of good big men come out of that draft that we know and love, especially in the early 2000s. Maybe not so late 2010. I mean early 2000s, late 2000s, and then like we said, maybe a little bit of the early 2010s. But yeah, you have Tim Duncan, a great, great power forward, arguably the best power forward of all time. Chauncey Billups, a good point guard who won a couple and one ring, I think one ring with the Pistons. Tracy McGrady, another great shooting guard, small forward, maybe top 5, top 10 shooting guard, small forward. Then we've got. I'm trying to
That was
see.
the 1997 draft class that you just listed.
Is that 1997? My bad. All right, 1998 is the one that you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the one I said.
All right, so you have. Okay, I'll just go back down. You have Mike Bibby, another underrated point guard who helped some championship teams get to the finals and win. Even though he wasn't the star player, he was still a good role player. Vince Carter, another great guard forward, just finished out his final season last year. Kudos to him. Jason Williams, another great point guard, probably top 10 maybe. Good, great flashy passer. Dirk Nowitzki, probably arguably top 3 power forwards of all time. Hit 30K a couple years back. A great offensive threat, but a little bit of a defensive liability. Paul Pierce, a good shooting guard, small forward, big guy for his position. Definitely dominated, getting two rings, one ring.
Paul Pierce only had one ring.
One ring, okay.
2008.
Then, yeah, then I guess you could say also. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this draft class that I could see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one anyway, but for my final draft class I thought was one of the best is the 2003 draft class with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony. And also Chris Bosh to add, too. So, once again, agree or disagree?
No, all 3 of these are great draft classes, in my opinion. Had a lot of great talent come out of it. 2003, you have arguably the GOAT LeBron James going number 1. Carmelo Anthony, a great scoring option with the Denver Nuggets. Still a great scoring option, maybe not as great with the Knicks. And now is playing a great role-playing position with the Trailblazers right now. Then you have Chris Bosh, another great power forward center. Had his injury, had blood clots come down to end his career. I'm sorry. Dwayne Wade, a good shooting guard, top 3 of all time behind Kobe and the great Michael Jordan. Kind of hard to put him above those 2, but can't definitely leave him out. Chris Kaman, I think is a good role player. Same with Nick Collison and David West and Boris Diaw and just a bunch of Kendrick Perkins, Josh Howard, Luke Walton. So there's a lot of good players from this draft. Oh, Zaza Pachulia was 2003 too. Mo Williams.
Wow.
Kyle Korver. Yeah, we got a lot of good role players from this draft.
Yeah.
And then you have obviously top 5, top 10 draft picks were obviously more of the greats that we remember.
I agree. So those are my 3 best draft classes. Now, Gabe, it is your turn to list your 3 best draft classes in your opinion.
All right. So I'm going to start a little bit more recent, and I'm going to start out with the 2011 draft class. So in that draft class, you had Kyrie Irving, who went first. Prayers up to Kyrie Irving, whatever he's going through mentally. Hopefully he can recover, find his love of basketball again, and come back stronger. Maybe can figure out some chemistry between him, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. Then some other players that we have in the draft. Jonas Valanciunas, great offensive help, defensive help that played for the Raptors and now the Memphis Grizzlies. Kemba Walker, hopefully he comes back soon. I have him on my lineup. Great role-playing point guard for the Hornets and now the Celtics. Klay Thompson, prayers up to you too. Probably arguably top 3, top 5 shooting guard in the league right now when healthy. Kawhi Leonard, another great two-way player on the court defensively and now offensively too. Nikola Vucevic, another great center that's just dominating in it. Tobias Harris, another great power forward that's just a good role playing. Jimmy Butler, we saw what he did in the finals and what he did in the playoffs last year. Really, really good. And you can't leave out the last pick in the draft, even though he is not really playing right now. But shout out to IT4, Isaiah Thomas. Had a heck of a season in 2017 with the Celtics before he got traded, which kind of ruined his career. Then you have a bunch of good other small role players. Etwan Moore. Let's see. Davis Bertans. Chandler Parsons. Bojan Bogdanovic. Corey Joseph. Reggie Jackson. Nikola Mirotic. Even though he plays in Spain now, he was a great role player. Kenneth Faried. Iman Shumpert. Markieff Morris. Marcus Morris. Bismack Biyombo. Enes Kanter. Derek Williams. And Brandon Knight. You have a bunch of good talent from that draft that is somewhat notable in this entire thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Draft class. I mean, between Kyrie, Clay, and Kawhi, you're talking like 6 rings combined. So I mean, there's definitely some championships to that draft class, and yeah, I 100% agree.
All right, cool. All right, so the next one we're gonna go with. I'm gonna try to keep it recent here again. We're gonna go 2015. So 2015 we'll start out with Karl Anthony Towns, a great full center, maybe top 5 in the league. Used to be top 3, but I think just being with the Timberwolves, it doesn't really help his case. D'Angelo Russell, who's been kind of quiet lately too. He was good with the Nets. I think the trade to the Warriors kind of messed him up. Kristaps Porzingis, a great power forward who's almost the next coming of Dirk, in my opinion. I think he's that good. Maybe not like as good, but like he'll get there. I think with some help and some guidance of Dirk. Miles Turner, probably the best scoring option on the Pacers right now. Even though what did they get? Careless LeVert in that trade, but they lost Victor Oladipo. Yeah, so Miles Turner, probably number 1 option out. Devin Booker, great in the bubble, still playing phenomenal. Having the Suns uplift them into a top 3-4 seed. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, another great role player. Let's see what else we got. I know he's not playing well, but Jahlil Okafor, he was a really good draft prospect. Mario Hezonja was okay. Willie Cauley-Stein was good. Good role player. I'm just gonna list out the role players that I think were pretty good. Kelly Oubre Jr. Not this year with the shooting, but his defensive help this year he's doing pretty decent. Terry Rozier doing well from the. Sorry, I'm choking on spit. Terry Rozier, good. Not Celtic. He was a good Celtics player, but he is also a great Hornet player. Bobby Portis, I think, is another great role player. Larry Nance Jr., Kevin Looney, Montrezl Harrell, Josh Richardson, Norman Powell. Yeah, there's just a lot of great talent in this. And there might be even some. Quinn Cook was in this draft. Great backup point guard. Rice O'Neal was a good small forward for the Jazz right now. And then Christian Wood. Christian Wood was also in this draft. Christian Wood's been playing out of his mind lately. But yeah, a lot of good notable players from this 2015 draft.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you have the top 2 picks of that draft playing on the same team with D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they were teammates, like back in high school. Not high school, but AAU.
I think they were AAU teammates.
Mm-hmm. And then Porzingis, I mean, he just got back from injury, and he's doing good. And then some of the other role players there are really good too. So I agree with this draft class with it being one of the best.
Yeah. All right. So then I have one more. I have one more draft class, right?
Yes, you have, because you listed two.
Okay, so my last draft class will be the 2017 draft class, which I think has a lot of great young talent. I think
Excuse me?
I think that this draft class will, especially in the next few years, will take over the NBA once all the greats decide to retire. We've got Markelle Fultz, who came in great, but obviously is having a little bit an issue shooting wise. Lonzo Ball, the Pelicans need to use him right in his position instead of being a wing shooter. Like I said in the last few episodes, think he needs to be in that point guard position in order to play phenomenal. Jason Tatum looking like a great superstar in the near future. De'Aaron Fox, on kind of a low end young team, but I think he's still a great point guard, getting better every single year. Lauri Markkanen, even though he's on the Bulls, still is a productive player. Zach Collins is a good backup player for the Trailblazers. Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, two really good all-stars. Let's see what else. We got John Collins. Did he get traded, or is he still...
He's still with Atlanta.
Still with Atlanta? Okay. He's doing pretty well. Jarrett Allen, OG Anunoby, good backup, or not backup, but good role players. Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, Frank Jackson, Jordan Bell. A lot of these people I'm probably just naming because I know them from the Warriors, but another player I like to notice, but he hasn't played one NBA game at all, which is kind of frustrating because he did really well, is Nigel Williams-Goss. And the only reason I know him is because I remember from my heart what is it called? The Gonzaga versus the UNC game. And he played phenomenal. Him, Josh Perkins, forgot who else was on that Gonzaga lineup. Krasinski or whatever his name is. Zach Collins was on that team too. And against the great UNC team, Joel Berry, Justin Jackson. Oh, Justin Jackson was in the 2017 draft too. Who was else on that?
I think Kobe White part of that UNC squad.
No, Kobe White was not on that championship team. I think he came like 2 years later. Because he wore the same number as Joel Berry, so Joel Berry couldn't be there, obviously. But yeah, I think that rounds it out for my final draft class.
I like it. I agree. I mean, the only thing is that Lonzo Ball going number 2. That might be the only disagreement, as someone is that vocal about their sons, LeVar.
But that's not his fault though. You can't you can't blame that on Lonzo. That's not his fault. Yet he might let it happen, and his dad, he can't control his dad, obviously. But like, LeVar's gonna market his family as big as he can and to make the most money because viewers are going to buy into it. And he's done a great job about that. And I think he's a phenomenal father. Maybe not like egotistically wise about himself, but just what he's doing for his kids is just, he's a great father. Like, he's helping them get them out in the spotlight, and just because let's compare Lonzo's abilities on the floor right now to another player. Let's just name another point guard that's doing mediocre. George Hill. When's the last time you heard about George Hill? Since he clanked that Frank, though, in 2018? Like, no. The only reason Lonzo Ball's still in the media is because the way LeVar Ball made him up to be. That's why LeVar Ball, great parenting. Just can't shut up about his own ego. And once he did, I think things would be so much better. But that's just what makes LeVar Ball LeVar Ball.
Facts.
But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Club.
All right, so Dalton, it is looking
Anyway.
like we are running out of time, so I think we might have to condense our draft classes to be only 3 together for the worst.
Yeah, of course. So, how about this? Like, I'll come up with them, and then you agree or disagree.
All right.
All good?
Yeah.
So, the 2004 draft class, I thought was pretty weak. I mean, Dwight Howard did go number 1, but I mean, other than that, you have guys like Ben Gordon, and then I want to say Delonte West was on that draft class. But on a personal note, I'm glad that he is doing better. I mean, he was in a very rough spot, and then Mark Cuban called his mother and then got him into rehab. So first off, I want to make sure Delonte West is all right, and I'm very happy that he's in a better place. But anyways, but yeah, I think 2004 draft class was kind of weak, only because outside of Howard, there was no one else.
Like for this draft class, they on Wikipedia, they noticed the best players, and you go from Dwight Howard to Devin Harris, Luol Deng, Andre Iguodala, Al Jefferson, Jameer Nelson, Harrison Varejao, Amik Okafor. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, Trevor Ariza. Well, yeah.
It is role play, but nothing like
no big superstars, just a bunch of small role players. It seems like. Mm-hmm. Tony Allen, great defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
J.R. Smith, Josh Smith, Chris Humphries. Yeah, I would agree. This draft class is kind of very, very weak. Mm-hmm. All right, so what's next?
For this one, it's more because of the pick.
Okay.
But I would have to say the 2013 draft class. The number 1 pick being Anthony Bennett. Possibly the biggest bust in history. Because here, I mean, he was overweight and he pretty much didn't even want to play. I mean, the Cavs didn't even want him, and they still picked him anyway. And now that man's not even in the league anymore. He only hopped around 4 teams, and he would came off the bench. And normally you don't see a number 1 guy who went number 1 in the draft come off the bench.
Yeah.
And the man didn't even do that well. And like I said before, he's not even in the league anymore. But I will say this. There was guys in that draft class like Giannis, Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams. I mean, those guys right there are very good.
Yeah.
Especially Giannis. So I'm only saying this one's the worst because of the number 1 pick.
No,
Let's just make that clear.
Yeah, the number 1 pick was definitely bad. But you do have the players like Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter Jr., Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Trey Burke, C.J. McCollum, Michael Carter-Williams, Steve Nash, Kelly Olynyk, Shabazz Muhammad, Giannis, Dennis Schroeder, Gorgui Dieng, Mason Plumlee, Tim Hardaway Jr., Andre Roberson, Rudy Gobert, Archie Goodwin, Alan Crabb. Actually, shout out to Alan Crabb. He used to be a really, really good role player. I don't know what happened to him, though. Did he just retire? He was on the Timberwolves last year.
I don't know. I think he might be a free agent.
Is he a free agent? Yeah, he is a free agent. But I remember him being a great role player. Alex Abrines, Mike Muscala was decent. Yeah, that's all that I'm really seeing, though.
Okay.
Yeah, but I understand why you picked this as the worst draft class, being because of the pick. But anyways, let's round it out. What is your last draft class that is considered one of the worst draft classes?
This next one, I'm only saying this one is again pick related, but okay, the 2007 draft class.
Okay.
That had Greg Oden as the number 1 pick, and that man only lasted 4 years in the NBA, only because he got injured a lot. But the crazy part is, guess who went number 2?
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. I mean, that right there is craziness in itself. That like, because now that you look at it, I mean, Durant should have been number one, but Greg Oden was so good at Ohio State that like, I mean, like, they obviously that they looked at him more than Durant did at Texas. So, I mean, outside Kevin Durant, I mean, believe they also had Mike Conley in there,
Yeah.
which I mean, he's a good player, which he still plays for the Jazz, right?
No, he got traded to the Grizzlies like this season or last season.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he moved teams, but yeah, I mean, this again is percolated because
Oh wait. No, he was on the Grizzlies and he got traded to the Jazz. I'm pretty sure. I think it went that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he is still on the Jazz, but yeah, like I said before, and I'll say it again, this one is one of the worst because of its pick.
No, yeah, it's like the pick. Shout out to Greg Oden, even though he did get injured. But you do have guys like Kevin Durant, Al Horford, Mike Conley, Jeff Green, Corey Brewer was decent, Joakim Noah, Thaddeus Young, Rodney Stuckey, Nick Young, Marco Bellinelli. I was about to say Jared Dudley, but no, not really. Wilson Chandler. Let's see what else we got. Glenn Davis was decent. I just realized there's 2 Asian NBA players in this draft, but anyways, Marc Gasol. I think Raymond Sessions was decent, but he wasn't great. But yeah, that's what we got for this.
Yeah, I like it. So that right there is episode 6 of Down to the Wire draft theme. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Down to the Wire. So that way you can continue to watch more vids. And we'll see you next time for episode 7. Peace.